93,000 subscribers. Woke up this morning. The weird thing is, I had to make a live about this based on the fact that I had a dream last night, right? That I was scrolling and it actually hit 93,000 in my dreams. And I thought that was real odd because when I woke up this morning, I looked at my numbers and it was 92,999. And, a few minutes, maybe 20 minutes later, it tipped the 93,000 mark. And this live, man, is no particular reason, only to give thanks to everybody that came to the channel, all the people that shared the love, all the people that participated, all the people that loved, objectively challenged, counterpunched, hated, everything, everyone. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. Boxing is, as you guys know, a soap opera. Might as well be watching that shit right now on TV. It's a soap opera. Let me show some love to the people I'm talking about. CJ-1977, congrats. Appreciate your brother. Omega_Alphatron. Yeah, that's it. Mama Lou, what it do? Hello there. Alfonso Banks, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Stranginess, counterpunch to you. Alex Max Power 18 on the scene, coming in at number 3. Hello there. Counterpunch to you. You always a real one. Thank you, brother CJ. Listen, again, I don't know if you guys heard this story or heard it how many times, but I got to say it again, okay? Because it goes with, oh shit, hold on a second. This was March of 2015. Maybe February. Yeah, this is probably like February. I'm living in Shreveport, Louisiana. And my boxing channels of choice was T Street Controversy. I used to watch a lot of him. Honcho Boxing, which he does a lot of documentaries, which I don't know what happened to him. I mean, I go to his channel here and there, but Dante Boxing Nation, he was around at that time. Boxing Ego was around. I'm not sure about Blue Blood. I'm not sure if I heard about him just yet, but those were the guys that I saw. Boxing Legends was a good one too. Rumy's Corner. Those channels I watched religiously. I would do my workout like I just finished my workout, and I would just hit on boxing channels that people discussed boxing. And I did that all the time. And any of these times I was watching T Street, Rumy's Corner, Boxing Legends, right? Even Boxing Ego. At none of these times that I have the idea in my head to make my own channel. None of them. I never had that. 2 girls, 1 cup. Oh my God, I heard about that. I've never seen it. No, I never seen it. I never watched it because people told me about it, and why would you want to watch that, right? Oh God. Honcho is good. Yeah, I like Honcho, bro. Honcho, he has some, and it's unbiased because it's documentary. It's informative. It's not a persuasive. It's an informative documentary about whoever he talked about, either it's De La Hoya, Arturo Gotti, Bernard Hopkins, Mike Tyson, Fernando Vargas, Felix Trinidad, whoever he talked about, he put great emphasis on. And it was just full of detailed knowledge and excitement. It kept you watching it. I'm sitting there watching these dudes working out, before either somebody will come over, you know what I mean? Slammer D. Williams over here, like my buddy Tim calls me. And one day, my homeboy, he was my roommate at the time, Kid Fresh One Media. He walks in, right? This dude walks in. He walks in and he's like, just like this, like, hey, Kurt, you ever thought about making your own channel? And I'm sitting down and he's standing up. And I'm like, no, not really. You know, kind of an asshole like I am, like, nah. You know. Romy's good. Romy was good. Is he still around? Eye for detail. Man, I appreciate that. Yeah, he does. We need more people like that. Yeah, we do. I wish. And the thing is, like, I always wondered, like, how did they, you know, I knew nothing about that, bro. I'm a stunt guy. I'm an actor. You know what I mean? Martial artist dude, gym. I don't know anything about tech stuff. Didn't know how to edit, didn't know how to do any of that, didn't know how to record, you know, until they had phones like this that actually had the button on YouTube that says record. That's all I knew. I didn't know none of that stuff. I didn't know nothing. But my buddy did, because he almost felt like he was kind of offended. Like, dude, well, shit, that's what I do. That's why, you know, because he has a whole studio back there and shit with the little cushions on the door and all that shit, with the mic and all that, like that mic set up like that. But he has a big, huge setup back there. And then, and of course, I was so ignorant not even to know what his capabilities were, right? When he was asking me, dude, let's make a channel. Why don't you make your own channel? And you know what, man, maybe one day, if you get enough subscribers, you may be able to get paid off of this. And I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, really? Hell, when you heard money, opportunity, one thing about me, if you show me a way or you give me a route to make some money, I'm about that. You know, I ain't gonna do everything, but if it's something that I see reasonable that I can, you know, make some money, sure, let's do it. Why not? Eyes, big off blow. News, big off blow. What the hell does that mean? Guys, hit that like button as you come in. Random side note, I messaged Miller for you, nothing back yet. Appreciate you, brother. Kurt, you should be a chief and do cooking shows, a chef and do cooking shows. I mean, yeah, I mean, I like to cook actually. I'm actually cooking right now. Well, I'll reheat what I had yesterday, you know, so let you guys, you know, come in. Stay strong, brother. I heard about your dog. She was a, oh, hello. Hello, friend. Counterpunch to you. Hey, man, can I ask you something to do? But Illuminati here. Okay, Illuminati. So we started the first episode. And you know, if you guys can tell, I mean, this was 10 years ago, right? 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. Because this was in whenever, you know, we did the first one. But I know it was before the Pacquiao versus Mayweather. And the crazy thing was, just to do it, to create it was a big thing to me. It was, you know, because I was thinking like, cool, that'll work. And we did it, filmed it, he edited it. And he was like, dude, I'm going to send you the link to it once I get finished with the edits. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I never forget, I was with my dad and we were going, I think I was with my daughter too, my oldest kid. And we visited one of my dad's friends and he dropped it. And you're looking at a person that had no subscribers. I like zero, maybe one or two, but didn't have it like that, right? So the first 30 minutes Now this blew my mind. The first 30 minutes, I got 100 views on that channel. It was 100 views. People had watched it, and I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, how can that be possible when I don't have subscribers? Because your mind is set like the amount of subscribers you have is the amount of views that you should have around that, because they will see that you've posted, and then you will, you know what I mean? So that's how that is. But nonetheless, I was excited about it. And I don't know how much it did after that, but I know it did 130 minutes. So I got with my buddy and all that, and I'm like, hey, dude, check this out. Let's do this, and let's do the second one, because we're going to do one per week. So first week's done, episode 2. I'm all excited. I got the material laid out. I got this, the fights, because back then, people, believe it or not, in America, we had the PBC. The PBC was hot at that time. They had Danny Garcia, they had Adrian Broner, they had Josecito Lopez, they had Keith Thurman, they had Errol Spence, they had the Charlos, they had a lot of people. They had a lot of fighters. And all of those guys were in between 130, 140, 147, 154, right? They were in that, he had them. And crazy thing is, there were fights every week, So you had something to talk about. That's where the material was coming from. So it's like, cool, big, And the crazy thing was, the second week comes around, and I'm waiting to film. Well, my buddy that does all the backstage stuff, he was dating some chick that he was really into at that time. So he was hardly around. So I'm like, damn, dude, I'm ready to do this, because the idea was, if a fight's Saturday or Friday sometimes, but mostly Saturdays, you want to get that out no later than Tuesday. Monday would be ideal, because it gives you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to watch the content, to see what the predictions are, because I did 1 week, right? Every week I would do one. So Monday slipped by. Oh man, I'm at my girl's. Tuesday, something else happened. I'm away. Wednesday, he was like, okay, I may be coming in or whatnot. When he comes in, we finally film it. It was out like Thursday or Friday. So episode 2 didn't do too good. And then by the time episode 3 came about, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, cool, let's get this done. And he was like, well, man, it's not really going like I thought. And I'm like, dude, you got to build this shit up. And it was more like, okay, well, damn, I guess I'll do it myself. That's when I started hitting the YouTube button. If you guys been, I don't know, you old veteran supporters, but I started off doing Sean Porter and Dennis Ugas and Bernard Hopkins when he was still around and all that stuff. So, it was a lot like I was doing, and the thing is, all I did was record it and then upload it to YouTube. No thumbnail, no fancy gadgets, edits, none of that, man. I didn't have that. CJ Rich, congrats. 93, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. The names you said are good boxers. Yeah. Especially at the time frame. I think we need to consider every fighter has his prime, and their prime was in that time. Bars. Right? And I just started doing them ever so often. And then at that point, I kind of got discouraged, because, I still only had like 9 subscribers, 10 subscribers. And then you're like, well, damn, what's up with that? Authentic, yeah. It was that definitely what it was. And it was crazy, because after that, I decided, because I was always on Facebook, and we had Ring IQ, but before any of that, we kind of made our own channels, because all of us pretty much were on this boxing forum. Okay, we had Boxing Connected. That was a huge one. It had like over 100,000 got likes or members or whatnot. and we all could post because you'd had to be allowed in, and we just talked boxing, and based off the images that we posted, and somebody would bring up a good question, and then the treads would get long, and then someone would make a video about the tread. So it got so big, people then started branching out, making their own Facebook channel. So then that's where Counterpunch Boxing News Facebook came into play. And I did a lot of videos on that. I did probably 100 videos. If you guys want to see some old Counterpunch boxing stuff, check out Counterpunch Boxing News Facebook, because that's where I pretty much got my start as far as it was more successful, I felt, right? And a lot of people were on that. I had 500 people. I'm like, wow, 500 likes. Then I think it got to 800 or 900. You had people coming in, looking at the video, and you seen the view count, and you're like, wow, all that shit's a dopamine hit. When you see the amount of views that people watch your stuff, you're gonna be like, damn, I like that. Let me do more, right? It's encouraging and shit. Well, I was doing those, and they were fun to do, and I was back and forth between Shreveport and Brazil. So Brazil, that's all I did in Brazil. Work out, spend time with my girl at the time and her family, and do videos on Facebook. You know what I mean? And it was crazy because the whole time I'm doing these, I'm looking at these views, and I'm thinking to myself, like, well, what if I had these views on YouTube? Because I knew it was going towards that amount or whatnot. I knew that much. Well, at some point, I decided, like, look, I can't keep making videos for Facebook, because people won't, then they will only stay on Facebook. Because, people are tribal. People are stubborn. So if they're used to coming to you, like, say, on this channel, and if you make another channel, they're not going to want to go over there. They're going to want to stay where they're used to. They're going to know where to find you. They're going to want to see, you know what I mean? That's people. And so I just stopped making them I would post here and there, but I stopped making content for Facebook on Counterpunch Boxing News and only focused on this. And so I put all the eggs in one basket and just kept making. I got up to like maybe 50 subscribers, then maybe 100. Now get this. This shit lasted from 15, 16, 17, 18. Now a lot of things happen in between these times, but I did post. I wouldn't post every day, but I did post. And I was getting what I thought that I wanted from Facebook. Like, oh, here's one for 400 views, 500 views. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, this is doing well. And I only did it when I was on location on a film. So I would, do a long video about a guy and then upload it and see what people think about it, read the comments and stuff like that. Truly engaged. 2018, I'm working on a show in Austin, Fear the Walking Dead. And I had a lot of downtime because I did a lot of driving, right? And the crazy thing, man, I started doing, now this is around the time where you had Wilder and you had Tyson Fury coming back, and then you had AJ, he was on top. You had guys like Parker, Dillian White, you know what I mean? That's when Parker, like around that time, and boxing was just there. Well, when those videos started coming about, I started noticing an increase. Like, it was only 200 subscribers. What's good, Kurt? XK Shots, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Big up, Kurt. Love your content. Big up to you and Counterpunch Boxing News community. Appreciate you, brother. I'll get you 2 more subscriptions. Appreciate you, man. Usyk needs to retire. He's holding up the WB, the heavyweight rankings, faking an injury and now holding everything up. Well, I mean, that's just up to the WBO on what they're going to do. I mean, you can't blame the fighter. Just like I don't blame Wilder nor Fury on the WBC in when they had the belts how they were. You have to blame Mauricio. That's why I don't care for him at all. Because I know he was the whole reason why they were allowed to do what they did. It's almost like bullies at a school. And you see a guy pick on another guy, bully another guy. And then you see the principal sees the bully picking on the other guy, bullying the other guy, and he doesn't do anything. He just turns and goes the other way. Well, at that point, you can't really blame the bully. Yeah, it sucks what the bully's doing, but the bully is allowed to do it because the principal ain't doing nothing. Mauricio Suleiman is the principal, and he needs to take responsibility and accountability for the things that he's done or didn't do in his sanctioning body. The same thing goes for the WBO. That's it. You know, so I mean, I'm not really, you can't blame Usyk if Usyk decides, which would be shitty, if Usyk decides to follow that trail of all the people that said, I can do whatever I want, that Canelo shit. Well, you can't blame him if nobody's making him do something because they could always strip him. Easy. But back to the journey. That 200 subscribers in 2018, and I made videos, and I started making because I didn't have anything to really do but sit there and drive when needed. Bro, I did 3 or 4 videos a day. At least 3 a day, and it was crazy. And then like the numbers were just, and you get familiar with who likes what, and it's like, okay, well, you did this one, and this one didn't do too well, but I still did them because I love to do them. I was doing them, and then they were, and then guess who calls? That's right, Kid Fresh calls. He's like, dude, do you know something? I'm like, what? You're almost at the required amount that you could start making money. And I'm like, what? Yeah, dude, you can start making money off of this. Because you're doing these videos and, you know, you've almost got 2,000 subscribers because you had to have 2,000 subscribers, right? Was it 2,000 or 1,000? And then 4,000 watch hours. He said, dude, you're almost there. Then when that happens, I can monetize your channel and we can start making money. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, that's cool and all, but I've been doing these shits like for the last 3 years, you know? And that's when he came involved, and you start seeing thumbnails, which then it starts looking a lot better because he was re-involved in that, you know? CJ, what's up, champ? Let's see. Parker earned his shot, but he needs to drop about 25 pounds to stand a chance. Well, that's a gamble with Parker if he wants to stay, because I did a short about it, and a lot of people, I guess, you know, I heard some negative comments about that, but I said that then. I said, dude, Parker's getting a little chunky. And the point I was trying to make is he was getting chunky. And he was doing what I seen other Samoan fighters do. Like David Tua did the same shit. He was about 223 pounds. And then between 97 and 2000, the boy had gained 30 pounds. He ain't a boy, but he's a man. He gained 30 pounds. And, you know, he grew his hair out and everything else grew out. And then you notice David Tua, he couldn't move as fast. He was already short. He wasn't a Mike Tyson. He was Mike Tyson-esque back in the 90s, but he was not like that in the 2000s. Now, if he hit you, he would knock your brains out, but he'd have to catch you first. You know? Picture, because he was almost like the equivalent of Andy Ruiz that never... See, if David Tua would have knocked out Lennox Lewis, it would have been like that. You know what I mean? That would have been that Andy Ruiz moment. But that never happened because David Tua never done that. He never took that left hook and took it and put it to AJ, to, you know, or Lennox, the way Andy Ruiz put it to AJ. So, yeah. Start a boxing impressions channel and you'll hit 100,000, no problem. Hilarious. I was thinking about that. I'm still going to make another channel though. I'm waiting to get with Boxing Wave because our schedules are so crazy. But we're doing a movie review too, so stay tuned for that. So it's going to be more than just boxing, because I like the idea of I like podcasts like to sit there and casually talk to someone and speak your mind and just unravel and let things rip and get things off your dome and converse and speak of things that's either that you're familiar with or something that you didn't know, or what I mean. I like podcasts. I like, if I'm going to drive back to Shreveport, I like to hear a good podcast. I'll put on some of that Rogan or something like that, and and let somebody talk about something that I'm not familiar with, and they're very informative. You can learn a lot from podcasts just listening. Why are idiots coming to this chat and talking crap? You will be removed. Remove them. That's, guys, that's exactly why I give you soldiers of the channel the authority. Because people come here and what it is, this is probably what happened. People come here to talk shit on this channel because this channel is a channel that has survived where other channels have not. And they were probably, because it's people that hate this channel. I don't know why, but I think they're just doing the job. So you guys do your job. When they come here talking shit, take them off. Peace. Heard you mention Frezzo Kendo sitting out the other day like Tua, but I got to say it wasn't Okendo's fault. Every time he tried to fight Brown, Briggs, or Char, they all popped. Well, I don't think it was Frezzo Kendo. You're right. Frezzo Kendo was a guy that really impressed me because he dethroned Clifford the Black Rhino ATN. ATN was a guy, undefeated guy. He got knocked out by Mike Tyson in like 40 seconds. You don't know if you guys remember that, but he fought Mike Tyson once upon a time. But Frezzo Kendo, I loved watching Clifford ATN. The Black Rhino, bro, I used to love him. He was from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Shout out to the boot. He was a guy that, had a crab defense, and I think he dipped his head too low. He crouched over too much. In Okendo's style, his overhand was a ball breaker. If that dude he used to throw overhands. And to be fair, though, a lot of those shots landed, behind the head. I mean, if you go back, watch Frezzo Kendo versus Clifford ATN. Classic fight. But Clifford showed that he got knocked down like 5 or 6 times because he was getting caught. And he wasn't able to lean because he should have been able to slip that shot. You know what I mean? But he would always put himself in position because he liked to work the inside body, get you on the ropes. Joe Frazier, do a little dance on the inside. Beautiful body work. I would love to see a guy like him in there. Caballo, I think Caballo would beat him because Caballo was able to move too. I think that's what people don't understand about Caballo. Caballo's also able to box. And he's very mobile, okay? Very elusive as well to be a stockier guy. So, but yeah, Frezzo Kendo, man, he dethroned Clifford ATM. Magical moment for Frez, the Big O Akendo. If you guys didn't know what his nickname used to be, I think they stopped calling him that once he got beat. But, because he got beat by David Tua. David Tua beat him, and he was beating David Tua until Tua ended up catching him. A classic, typical Tua fight, right? You're kicking Tua's ass until he oops, and he catches you with that shot, and game's over. So, fight's over. Will they be unified interim holders? Who? Jackson's son going to jail if not getting sued. Oh God. Okay. That is a reminder, people, on why you shouldn't piss people off. Don't put your hands on somebody because everybody's saying poor that guy. Now, to be fair, that was overkill. Yeah, that was XK shots. That was overkill. Because obviously something was wrong with both of those guys, and it showed. He got hit over the head with a beer can, an unopened beer can, which that sucks. I know that was enough to piss anybody off. But to what degree? I can understand the slam. Because I would have slammed his big ass too. That motherfucker hit me and you're like, okay, then you getting in the ring with me? Oh yeah, I'm gonna slam you. But all that shit, that shit, like, bro, you need to go to jail because you decided that. That is no excuse. Bro, you shouldn't be hitting that man like that. You don't see that this motherfucker's unconscious. If you can't see that, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit about the white, the black thing. I don't care nothing about that. And I know that's where that's trying to go. It's there. It's there. The white, black aesthetic, that shit's there. I ain't caring about none of that. I'm looking at two people, one hit the other one, two men, okay, with testosterone oozing through them, and there may be both of their minds are not right. Right? Because obviously you can't have a right mind if you think it's cool to keep hitting somebody that's unconscious. I'm sorry. You can't have a mindset of stableness knowing cognitively this man is out. Oh, therefore let me keep hitting him. No, you got to have something wrong with you. I don't think Frank Warren will have a Thomas face Usyk unless Usyk shows some serious signs of aging next fight. No, I think if the opportunity, if it was up to Frank and, if they could get the fight, if Usyk agreed to it, they would make it. Because, see, that's the last hope they have from dethroning Usyk. It has to be someone that's fresh, sharp, new to the game, that has something else to offer as far as challenge to Alexander Usyk, because Usyk's whooping every ass there. You know what I mean? Even though I still think, and we won't know until they fight, I still think Joseph Parker is better than Danny Dubois. I don't give a fuck. I think he's better than Danny Dubois. What people are hung on the perception of what Dubois did to AJ, and AJ beat Parker, but that was 6-7 years ago. You have to remember that was 7 years ago when he beat Parker. And it wasn't even a decisive win. Hell, for all we really know, it was a fight that was refereed wrong based on how it was ruled. Yeah? Parker has 3 to 7 fights left. Parker needs to get, I hope Parker's rich. I hope he has cash, and I hope he has a plan to keep himself busy in the future. Sure, be that dad of 5 or 6 girls. I think he has a big family. You know what I mean? But I do want him to retire. People talk about Andre Ward and they talked about him like a dog. Bro, what would you want? You want a man to get his ass beat, because if he would have went to heavyweight, somebody probably would have knocked out Andre Ward. We seen what happened at light heavyweight when he moved from 168. So if he went to heavyweight and took on AJ, would he got paid? Sure. But would he have been knocked spark out? I believe so. You know what I mean? And he decided, nah, I think I'm going to pass. That's okay. Because I think it's sadder than to see someone permanently impaired. Don't you? I mean, look, I love fights, and I love people that show balls and heart and guts and glory and blood and sweat and tears. And I love that idea. I love that mindset. But at the same time, all that shit comes at a price. Are y'all going to pay it? Am I going to? No. We ain't in there. We ain't in there taking shots from guys that may kill you, that have killed before. Sergey Kovalev killed a guy already before fighting him. You know, Parker said he will retire in 2027. I hope so. That would be a good time. Him and Joshua. Usyk versus Crawford. Champ, are you high? No, not high. Fury, GOAT, because Triple D wants 7 million or 70 million? 70 million? But Parker had his shot. What about Caballero? Parker's been around longer though. Caballero, I think Caballero is kind of a like. Unfortunately, he's like Triple G because Triple G was in a situation where he was this complete badass from the other side of the world that wasn't promoted right. He wasn't promoted like he's supposed to. You know, like fights that he could have fought, he didn't fight. Like fights that could have defined his career by the time you heard about Triple G. Can you guys tell me something in the comments right now, all 34 of you or whatever amount of you? Please write down your first fight you remember Triple G fighting. Who's the first person that you remember Gennady Golovkin fighting? Can you tell me? Can anybody tell me, do they remember their first Triple G fight? Who do you guys remember him fighting? I never watched his fights. Okay. Obviously, that's not you. Honestly, that would be Canelo. Damn. Danny Jacobs. Damn. Caballero is the WBC mandatory. Okay. Nope. Never watched Triple G. Damn. So you guys are not Triple G fans. Well, Triple G, my first fight watching Triple G was he was a what was that guy's name? I think he was from Sweden. No, no, no. I think no, it wasn't Stevenson because I remember Curtis Stevens. Curtis Stevens was he got knocked out and he was like ooh, you know, and he whooped everyone's ass. Mac the Knife, Macklin. Okay, I remember the first fight I remember seeing Triple G. Triple G. Okay, you guys remember Sergio Martinez? Sergio Martinez was the heavyweight. Sorry, the middleweight champion of the world. And he knocked out Paul Williams, and he had a tough fight with that British guy. What's that British guy's name? He fought that he should have lost to, and it was revealed that that Sergio's knees are gone. Have you had any seen? Have any of you seen my son? He has been avoiding me because I told him to leave. I, dude, come on, bro, come on. AJ feels 100,000, no problem. Yeah, AJ reminds me a lot of Arturo Gotti. He may not be the best, but I think as far as market and because Arturo Gotti was the man. That's why Floyd wanted to fight him. See, you remember like Floyd fought Gotti, because he wanted the Gotti fight, and then he fought De La Hoya. Yeah, he did put Paul Williams on ice. But the guy he fought after that, let me look it up now because I should know this, but I mean, Sergio's been out of the game for a while. He actually made a comeback not too long ago. Joshua is the second best of this era. I don't know about that shit, but we have to figure that out. A lot of fights I still think should happen. Wilder needs to fight AJ. AJ needs to fight Fury. Those fights should happen anyway. Those fights should have been priority at a certain point in time. All this back and forth and bullshit, and Usyk just pretty much came and fought them all and beat them all. And that's what I appreciate about Usyk. Usyk was like, okay, you motherfuckers are sitting around, whatever, bullshitting. I'll fight and beat all of you. I'll fight you. I'm the smaller dude, and I'll beat all of you. Here we go. Okay, so come on, dude. AJ versus Usyk was a close fight. The second one was a little closer, but AJ ran out of gas. That's where that rant was from. That's where that rant was from. You know, that I'm 18 stone, I'm heavy, I'm tired, I work hard, and all that shit. And because he couldn't keep up with Usyk. Usyk's pace beats a lot of people. See, Usyk with that pace, man, you got to be careful. Usyk will tire you out mentally and physically. And when you're depleted from both entities, he's going to destroy you. He's going to drown you. He's going to drown your ass with a series of punches that's going to give you the blues. Not everybody's like Michael Hunter. See, Michael Hunter took those shots, and I keep saying, and I will say it and say it again and again. Michael Hunter fighting Usyk, that fight should have been stopped. He was getting hit way too much. Sure, he showed that he can take the punches, but I don't think that's the point. Sometimes this, hey, I'm tougher than thou shit, it don't matter if you see one guy beating the shit out of the other guy. If it was a back and forth or a challenge-like thing, that's different. If he was throwing back, that's different, but he was not. He was just constantly getting hit again and again and again and again. I say stop it. It was time for them to stop that shit. Stop it. So no, I mean, but no, big up the Alexander Usyk, but Caballo, back to him, he's like a lot like Triple G. He's this guy that people, if he kicks enough ass, people are going to respect him. And then people won't respect him until he goes and whoops that one dude that people thought he couldn't beat. And I don't know why people are not thinking that already, because he already stopped Zhang. Nobody stopped Zhang. He stopped Frank. Nobody's beaten Frank. You know? He beat Mark Madoff, which was the bear wrestling Russian. Nobody has never beaten him, but he's done that. So he's going to have to whoop a lot of ass to keep showing that he is still the dark horse in the division, the boogeyman in the division. It's just he's not marketed right, and he's not a trash talker, because he's a very religious man, and he doesn't swing that way. And one thing about fighters, I would rather you be yourself than to try to be like somebody that you're not. There's nothing's worse than a fake ass person that's trying to put on a facade just to appease somebody because his naturalness wasn't good enough. So for Terrence Crawford, Aget Kabayel, Joseph Parker, those guys that don't really talk trash like that, let them be who they are. Bobby Collins, big up. Hrgovic versus Efe Ajagba would be a good fight. I want to see that. But Efe Ajagba's fighting Frank Sanchez again, which, I mean, it is what it is. Mayweather versus Pacquiao now is a circus fight. Yeah, that's bullshit. I don't want to see that. I wouldn't want to see that either. Like, who wants to see Floyd fight Manny now? Maybe in 2018 or 19, yeah, that would have been a very good fight, because both guys have, they're smaller, very talented men. Those guys that size are probably one of the most talented fighters on the planet, or were once upon a time. But now, no. Yeah, the first fight sucked. Kurt, Joshua ducked Fury twice. Okay. Okay. Kurt, I rewatched Fury versus Tom Schwartz the other day, and I got to say Fury was one slick MFer back in the day before the second Wilder fight. Yeah. He was a big man that could move, unlike big men. Ali became more religious after he retired. Joshua wants fight versus Jake. So what? Marlon Thornell, what's good? Counterpunch to you. But no, man, 93,000 subscribers. It's all because of you guys. I thank you guys for the support. I really wasn't even supposed to be on here this long because I'm about to eat. And then I got to go make some quid, right? And no, 93,000. We got 7,000 more to go. We got a super chat from Bryce Productions. Do a sparring boxing match for your 100,000 special. Yeah, that would be cool, man. That would be cool because when that happens, I'm gonna throw a big party. I'm gonna have some fun, bro. Marlon, what's up? It was sad to see an articulate man like Ali fade away. Yeah. So if you think that's sad, don't get pissed off at people that you felt retired too early. Stop it. You can't have it both ways. Do you want Andre Ward? You don't want nobody like that. And you know why the shit's happened. Reeking of Parkinson's and shit like that because he got hit too much. You don't want that shit for nobody. Because he's taking too much damage for our entertainment. Listen, I love fights. We love violence. We love to see a motherfucker get knocked out, but I don't want to see him hurt permanently. I don't want nothing. I hope he knock his brains out and kill him. No, I don't want nothing like that. Why you want somebody to go in the ring and not leave? What is this, fucking Rome? No, I don't want anything like that. I respect the sport more than that. Kurt, they say just get rid of the cruiserweight division because the majority of them are heavyweights and light heavyweights. Yeah, I think they could pick a side. Look, go to light heavy or take your ass to heavyweight. I believe that. Kurt, do you think Ali was sick when he fought Springs? I think he was probably dealing with some issues, some beginning issues of Parkinson's, and really didn't know what was going on. He probably wasn't diagnosed yet, but yeah, maybe. The fighters who retire early may have a good reason why they did. Yeah. Even guys like Mickey Ward now I love to see Mickey, Mickey, head, body, head Mickey. And I love to see Mickey. And it was crazy because I'm like, okay, nice. We got Mickey Ward. He's taking a beating, but he comes back and he throws that left uppercut to the body, that liver, bow, breaks him down, shuts him down, and wins the fight, right? But it came at a price, and a price that we ain't paying for. We're not paying that price for these guys getting their heads bashed in, knocking out brain cells with a left and a right and an uppercut and an overhand and a jab. Come on, man. We got another super chat from Bryce Productions and live stream the sparring match and have a winner. Oh, that'd be nice. I mean, we'd have to set up somewhere. We'd have to have a venue. Lennox Lewis told Moses not to fight with Usyk. You know what? That's one. That's one. I'm glad you said that. On that note, I was mad at Riddick Bowe for retiring, but seeing him now, I'm glad he did. Yeah, I mean, but he's fucked up now. Big Daddy's not the way he used to be. I just finished a video about Big Daddy. Yeah. Big Daddy's having a movie come out. So, it is what it is. Kurt, do you think the cruiserweight division will be closed down? I'm not sure. I'm not really sure, man. I don't think so. Bryce with another super chat. No need venue. Use boxing gym for sparring matches. Oh, yeah. Go to a gym. That'd be dope. Riddick Bowe took a lot of heavy hits in his career. Yeah, a lot of them did. Holyfield did too. You think Holyfield talked like that in the 90s? Even though he's not as bad as some people. You think Sugar Shane Mosley talked like that in the 90s or the early 2000s like he talks now? Bro, that's because of damage. Cerebral damage. How do you think Usyk versus Lewis would go? It'd be pretty good. I mean, Lewis would have to walk him down if he can, but that's the problem. You don't really walk down Usyk. You just got to catch him and apply pressure on him. But you have to have the stamina to keep up with those feints and those upper body movements and that and that footwork. If you don't and you can't, you're doomed, because eventually he's hitting you hard enough on the pivot because he's countering off of his own movements. He's countering off his own movements. And he's not putting everything into those punches, but he's hitting you and getting your attention. That's why he trains so hard and conditioning. So when he does hit you off the pivot, it does seem like a legitimate punch of where he sat down on it. It felt like, damn, did this dude sit down on this punch and catch me with this sucker? Because it got a lot of stank on this punch. Kurt, I always wanted to see Jayapataya versus Moses Atoma. You may see that. You may see that because Jayapataya is 30 years old. Moses Atoma is 20 years old. Jayapataya won't stay at cruiserweight long like that. He give him a couple years. He'll be 32. Moses will be 22. And if Moses is a heavyweight champion, Jayapataya becomes, that may be a fight that happens. Why? Because Moses Atoma will become champion one day. It just depends on when. And Jayapataya, if he becomes the unified, undisputed cruiserweight champion, he has first dibs based on the WBO rules to be the mandatory for the WBO belt. So whoever has it, he can fight for. More than likely it'll be Moses if all the belts stay intact, which more than likely they won't, but still. 2 to 3 years, Moses Atoma versus Jayapataya may be a thing. And we know Jayapataya got hard. He got his jaw broken. He still stayed in the game. He ain't a Danny Dubois, a Billy Joe Saunders, right? He ain't none of them cats. A Victor Ortiz, remember him? Yeah. Moses too big and quick. Well, he's big for a big, I mean, he's smaller than those guys, but he's fast. But I think someone with some speed will give him something to think about. See, your perception of someone being fast versus someone that's being slow, you're thinking he's a lot faster than he really is. So Moses is fast. Don't get me wrong. He's quick, but he's just faster than the guy he's in there with. If you put him in there with another fast guy, he's not appearing that fast anymore. You see what I mean? He's appearing quick. Just like Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was always fast, right? He will always be a quick fighter and a quick combination puncher. But he wasn't faster than Usyk. Usyk was able to time him with his own speed. See, someone else's opposing speed gives that fighter with speed something to think about. No one's invincible. I like that. Muhammad, come on. Come on. People sleep on Usyk's power, but when he wants to use it, he does. Absolutely. I say the same thing about Muhammad Ali. Anyone looks quick against White. Bill Keevan in the building. Counterpunch to you, bro. G-Man, he finished his live stream because I was on his earlier, like before I started this one about an hour ago. Anyone looks quick against White that's true. That's true. Because White, you know, I mean, Moses looked a lot quicker against Dillian, because Dillian ain't the same, bro. I mean, I seen when he was hitting that bag, you know, he needs to fight people his own age, and I think that would be a better fight, and then he can be more competitive. You want to be on a level where you're competitive, not on one that you're not, because you may see shit like that. Kurt, did you hear Stream East got shut down? That was a good site. What's Stream East? I don't know what that is. White looked washed up in the Hammer fight. Dillian White is 4 years out of his prime. Wilder versus Apataya opinion. Ooh. Southpaw versus Wilder. That's a good fight. Dangerous fight. Because I seen Wilder throw that punch. I want to see Wilder again. I don't think power just goes away. I don't believe that shit. Homeland Security shut down Stream East down for illegal streaming. I never heard of Stream East. I don't know what that is. Kurt, they're trying to shut down all the free stream economy is bad. Oh yeah. Okay. Because I never heard of that. Hopefully White will retire, but it looks like he wants more fights. Yeah, he has to fight other people. I don't think he should retire. Don't retire. Don't retire. I want to see Atoma versus Joshua next. That's not going to happen because Eddie already knows what happened to White. He doesn't want the same thing to happen to Joshua. Joshua's too big of a name to be protected from the integrity standards for him getting blasted out. If he get look, because the same thing could happen to him. Because AJ gets pounced on, he's a lot like Vladimir. If he can't control the outcome or the distance of the fight, I think AJ though would stay longer because I think AJ is not as worn out as Dillian is. I think he has a better chin. However, I do think that shit may be the same. Atoma knows Joshua. I don't even know but it would be respect because they both were with Ben Davison. Of course, Atoma's still with Ben Davison. And no. Eddie ain't gonna make that fight because Eddie's looking for AJ a respectable way out of the game. I think if he was pissed at AJ and he wanted to just be spiteful, he would throw him in there with him. But but then again, these fights are so unpredictable because what happens if AJ goes in there against Atoma and Atoma overcommits to something and AJ catches his ass with a right hand, and we find out that his chin isn't all that great. And everything else is, but the chin ain't. You know what people are going to say, right? The minute if AJ knocks out Moses Atoma with a right hand because, he catches him with a shot that, Moses, because the one thing about a younger fighter, they're eager. They're overzealous, right? So they may be trying to do too much, too greedy. We've seen it. We've seen Gabe Rosado. Gabe Rosado was beating David Lemieux back in the day. But he wanted to do too much too soon. Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury 2. Hey, why not? And, that just shows you, though, like Tyson was hurt after that Usyk fight. He was hurt. He was hurt after that sucker. Because it's like he had all these plans. Fight Usyk a third time. Then after that, fight maybe AJ, then Ngannou, right? All these were developing fights in the future for Tyson. Tyson loses another decision. He's out. Moses versus AJ doesn't happen unless AJ leaves the Davison camp. I don't think he's with Davison no more, to be fair. I haven't seen him with Davison. I've seen him with Coach Mitchell, Chill Mitchell. I haven't seen him with Ben. Kurt, who wins? Bakari Jololov versus Anthony Joshua. I don't know. How about this? How about Jololov versus Moses Atoma? How about Teramona against Moses Atoma? How about Richard Torres against Moses Atoma? How about Jared Anderson against Moses Atoma? You know what all those guys got in common? You know what they all got in common? They're all in the same age bracket. They're all fresh, new blood fighters that are trying and should be trying to make a name for themselves. I'm tired of entertaining the idea of Moses versus this 35-year-old. Moses versus this 36-year-old, like he just fought Dillian White. Moses against this 38-year-old. Moses against this 45-year-old. I don't want his resume padded with these old heads. These seasoned fighters that already had their career and their careers behind them. I'm tired of looking at that type shit. I'm tired of seeing that. Moses Atoma versus Lucas Brown. Yeah, shit like that. I'm like, that type of shit, like, yeah, okay, you can make that fight because Lucas Brown's I'm going to go out there and I'm going to fight this kid. I'm going to see what this kid got. He probably ain't even in the mindset, you know, I mean, every fighter got a mindset to knock a motherfucker's dick in the dirt. Keep that in mind. But they're also realistic to see, let me see what this guy has. And a lot of people don't even look at it, especially like veteran fighters. They're looking at it like, let me see what this guy can do. Let me see how his footwork is. It's like sparring. You see, okay, how fast is he? Oh shit, he got a good right hand. You know what I mean? Let's see how this guy sways. Let's see how he moves. Let's see what he has. Let's see what he got. You know what I mean? Those are like veteran fighters want to check you quick. And they want to see it. Let me see what happens if I do land this right hand. See, some people don't understand boxing mentality, especially a brawler man, like Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora's like, look, I'm gonna bring it to you and see what you got, because that's why he comes and he rushes you, because he knows, well, if I land that shot and you ain't got a chin, I'm gonna end you. That's the thing about Derek, like he did to Spilka. He destroyed Spilka because he was like, I'm not wasting time with Spilka. I seen what happened to you in Wilder. So I know you can fall, but can I make you fall? See, those old heads, bro, I'm gonna tell you, those veteran guys will take the fight, but that don't mean that we want to see that shit. We want to see something that makes these fighters. Those fights don't make those fighters. They make good highlight reels, showcase fights, but they don't make competitive fights that we want to see. Some back and forth action, 45 to 55, 51 to 49, right? Those type of fights, 60-40. You know, the guy won, but shit, that 40% of the time, he was getting his ass handed to him. Man, those rounds 8 and 9, he did it good. We want to see those type of fights. Kurt, Bakhadir Jolalov versus Philip Hrgovic would be a good match. Yeah, it would be. Philip, yeah, he can hang. He can stay. But I mean, Philip, I predict he's going to be another person that will be, I just think, I fighting when I fought and I fight Dubois. I think Dubois had no balls. But he showed me he had a little bit of balls. You know what I mean? Like, because the Adelaide fight, I talked about that yesterday. The Adelaide fight showed me that Philip Hrgovic, yeah, he can take a shot, but sometimes some shots ain't worth taking if it's going to 10, 20 years down the line, 10 years from now, which ain't fucking long, people. Right? It didn't seem like 10 years ago I made this channel either, with 93,000 subscribers. I feel like Carl Froch with 93,000 in attendance, over 90 million views. You want to get with the Cobra, right? He could suffer in 10 years. Philip could suffer some major damage and see some major changes. And I don't want to see him like that. I don't want to see that dude go out like that. But, therefore, based on the fact that he can take a punch, yeah, he doesn't move the head. No, and that's another reason he's going to get his head knocked off. But even people that could move their head and upper body and all that, James Toney, one of the best defensive fighters of all time. Shit, you could dodge punches, but you can't dodge them all. Joe Joyce always talks slow. He did. Yeah, he could fight. And I don't know. I just didn't think Joe's just Joe. I think people need to leave Joe Joyce alone and let Joe Joyce fight. Because I think he's just a fighter. He's been a fighter all of his life. The dude got out of high school and went to the Shaolin Temple, for Christ's sake. He likes to fight. It's where he gets those fucking scars from. Like, damn, somebody caught you with a tiger claw? Yeah. You'll take too many shots, you'll be buffering like buffering. That shit was that was funny though. Hope Bud wins 1 week left. Well, a week and a half to go. And we're going to do a lot of Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez content. So stay tuned. It's coming at you. Guys, I love you. I got to go eat because I'm hungry. I'm heavy. I'm 18 stone. I'm heavy. So I'm going to go eat. And thank you guys again. 93,000, 7,000 to go. Road to 100,000 subscribers. Over 90 million views. 91 million views have been seen on this channel. So I thank you guys for that. You guys be blessed. Enjoy your Wednesday. Hump day in the building. And everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.